He really likes football. He wanted to take the man to play football. But what a power, the little brother is now still lying in the hospital. His dream was to see the World Cup, but with the current circumstances, it's not possible. At Honor Hospital, it is now developing a drug that can cure all diseases quickly. He was also happy to hear the news. Finally, the younger brother was relieved, and the older brother was also relieved. They ended the conversation. The time shows 2 o'clock less 5 minutes. And Yuna's Mulu and Yuna's gloomy face. Yuna is faced with a difficult circumstance. It's the best thing I can do. Therefore, Kim Sun-gu, you should really be able to defeat them. And also, you have to keep your promise. The time is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Nathaniel seemed very happy to meet Peter. But time goes on. He also asked Lee Yuna. Yuna, why doesn't Peter come? Yuna looked very anxious because she thought it was impossible for Peter to forget his promise. What happened, Kim Sun-gu? You didn't forget your promise to me, right? Now it's more than 2 o'clock. Sun-gu is in the park, precisely under the clock pole in the park. He mumbled, you told me to meet in front of the clock pole in the park. He also remembered what he talked about with Yuna at that time. It turned out that the conversation was different from the agreement with Nathaniel. It turned out that Yuna told Sun-gu to go in front of the clock pole in the garden, not the clock pole that Nathaniel had promised. Nathaniel told Peter to go in front of the clock pole in the lobby. Yuna spoke to herself, if Nathaniel knew that it wasn't Peter, but Sun-gu who killed Pao Coin, he would definitely kill Kim Sun-gu. At the reception, the station and even in the lobby, Nathaniel's men were scattered everywhere, although no matter how strong Kim Sun-gu was, this place was very dangerous. Yuna hopes that Kim Sun-gu will just run and get out of here. You suddenly come one day with lots of questions. I always feel it was the first time I can feel the pleasure of having lunch together with other people. And spending good time with someone, leaning on someone when I feel anxious. And this is the first time, whatever I do, someone thinks about it seriously. Sun-gu, you are the first person with me, definitely will not betray me. Returning to Yuna's current location, Yuna is in a weak and helpless condition. Nathaniel came and asked Yuna, Yuna, what's really going on? Why hasn't he come? With a trembling body, Yuna tried to answer it. In fact, since then I have never met Grandpa Peter again. He also never contacted me again. I lied because you said you wanted to give medicine to my sister. I'm really sorry, but Nathaniel, wouldn't that old grandfather come if he knew I was here? So, please give me a job to work here. I can really do anything. I'm good at cleaning. I'm also practicing hard. I will try more. So I beg you, don't bother my sister anymore. But Nathaniel answered with a different answer. He said, in the end you can't bring Peter here. You made a big mistake. And that mistake is, I will kill you. You're talking about cleaning up practice when you can't get Peter here. At that time, you will no longer be useful. Even though I warned you, who is the next victim? Drag him here. Suddenly, there was a panic in the house. Suddenly, there was a panic inside the hospital. There was a warning that a fire had broken out at the hospital. All the employees, patients, and people inside ran in fear. The Dokgo brothers also ran even though they were still in pain. Suddenly, Dokgo heard a loud noise from behind the doors of the honorary hospital. He was curious about the sound, where it came from. Where the killers of Nathaniel's men gathered, all of them fell silent at a voice saying there was a where the killers of Nathaniel's men gathered. Everyone fell silent at a voice saying there was a fire. Nathaniel felt strange about it. He said it was a fire, but there was no smell of smoke. He told his subordinates to check it. Yuna looked dumbfounded. Someone said, Yuna, why are you crying? While walking in the direction Yuna was. He is Sun-gu. He repeated his words, why are you crying, even though I have come? Yuna asked, Sun-gu, why are you here? He replied, I promised, I will meet you in front of the clock tower. Sun Gu talked to the people around him. If there was a fire in the hospital, usually everyone would run away. But you are different, you do not run away. That means you are not medical staff, patients or visitors, but you are killers who gathered to kill me. Eunice said, What are you doing? Nathaniel said also, Do you mean to save Una? When you meet you. I already know, you are a different person from others. You're pretty special. But, are you able to face so many and strong men of mine? They are the caretakers of the cemetery in Rio de Janeiro. They consist of people who have been very cruel since childhood. Because there were frequent murders there, the place was called the Cemetery Caretakers Village. Because in that place corpses always arrived without stopping. The death of the weak is very natural there. People who survive in that place are considered strong men. Kidnapping, drugs and prostitution. The funeral directors of Rio de Janeiro who control this illegal industry eventually became the strongest organization in Brazil. And finally, all the strong people had gathered, numbering 100 here. How is it possible that you will beat them with a ratio of 100 to 1? It would definitely be made like a roast chicken here by these 100 strong people. Sun Gu, I once said that I saw an opportunity in you. In other words, the coke is a tiger cub to me. If you develop well after being raised by me, you will definitely become a peak predator who will defeat anyone. How come it's impossible to win against adults nowadays? So stop your friendship values. And what if you just follow me? I will educate you well. Sun Gu just kept quiet and just shook his head. Nathaniel said, Okay, I understand your opinion. And that's the choice you mean. Two people attacked from above saying you won't be able to live much longer after meeting me. You're just a stupid level D killer. But unexpectedly, Sun Gu took out a pen-shaped weapon and killed them both without anyone else seeing his movements. They are all shocked by Sun Gu's actions. Nathaniel muttered, he killed his opponent who came down from above without even looking at him. Moreover, he was very accurate, he only attacked the vital point. Sun Gu said, Do I still look like a baby tiger? Do you know how long it takes a human until he actually dies? If the broken artery is broken, it will take 1 minute 12 seconds. If the vein is cut, then it takes 40 seconds. If the carotid artery is cut, it takes 12 seconds. Let's assume it takes 1 minute to kill one person. However, the opponents you have to face are 100 people. I'm very curious, will you be able to survive? You have to kill 100 people in 100 minutes. This country is really sickening. They live too peacefully. If it's like this, then we feel alive, don't you think, boy? I will remember your sacrifices until the day I die. That Eastern brat won't be able to defeat us just like that. They continuously attack Sun Gu without stopping. Eunice said, if this continues, Sun Gu can be wretched. After a while he was cornered into the corner of the room. Sun Gu mutters, they don't care about their dead comrades. Attitude, body, they don't hesitate at all. They said, why are you so surprised, my friend from the East? It's very embarrassing. We've been together since birth. Maybe you don't know because we were raised well. But for us life and death are the same as eating and defecating. Apparently you're really good at dodging. Even though it really feels fast. Eunice said, if this continues, Sun Gu can be wretched. After a while he was cornered into the corner of the room. Sun Gu mutters, they don't care about their dead comrades. Attitude, body, they don't hesitate at all. They said, why are you so surprised, my friend from the East? It's very embarrassing. We've been together since birth. Maybe you don't know because we were raised well. But for us life and death are the same as eating and defecating. Apparently you're really good at dodging. Even though it really feels fast. Otherwise you won't be able to fight by dodging like that. There is no place for you to escape. Now what do you want, Sun Gu? You've been cornered. And there are dozens of people who will block your way. Do you still have a way to fight back? Sun Gu also said, there are so many of your colleagues, there are too many. But this is actually really good. Sun Gu looks for something in a nearby cupboard box. They are all suspicious of Sun Gu's behavior. Sure enough, Sun Gu took out a water pipe, turned it on, then sprayed them. They all bounced. Sun Gu said, why are you so surprised? Even though I haven't started at all. But it's a shame that the water that used to come out big is now dead. Sun Gu said, damn, is the water game enough for now? The killers were still able to stand upright. Sun Gu is smart too, but water cannons can't kill people, right? Sun Gu answered, I told you, right, I've just started this game. And now it's just really starting. After the device was placed in the water, everyone in the water was electrocuted. They all died horribly. Their bodies emit smoke. Then Nathaniel said, you are indeed great, Sun Gu, the extent to which you will surprise me. He deliberately traps the killers in a corner so that Sun Gu can use the water cannon. With a water cannon, he deliberately sprayed it on the floor so he could use a manual defibrillator. The longer you look at it, the more it adds to its charm. I will correct the 100-minute time that I said earlier, because now it has reduced by half. Do you have about an hour left? Sun Gu also said, do you think it will take me 2 hours to kill them? I think less than 2 hours. Oh yeah, with this table it seems to be better. Sun Gu picks up the blackboard from the floor. The killers are curious about what Sun Gu wrote. After finishing, Sun Gu dropped it on the floor while saying, you guys are wearing doctor clothes, but don't know this. That's obvious. Doesn't a wound in the carotid artery cause excessive bleeding? That will be the cause of your death. But they realized it too late. But now they realized that this guy is not a level we can handle. One by one the titles were lost by Sun Gu. Their bodies were attacked by their vital points. They also experienced heavy bleeding. In just a few seconds the enemy has reduced a lot. With his strength and speed, Sun Gu managed to overcome everything. Yuna is amazed by Sun Gu's strength. He said, I had heard a story about the strongest man in the world when I was in a bookstore that provided all books except books that didn't exist, the people around me, every day talking about that man. But it's different from the hero stories I often hear. Because the legend turned out to be different from what I thought. He was like an elderly person in general. The old man did try to fight as hard as he could, but that was enough. He didn't look at all like someone who had defeated over 1,000 people. I shouldn't believe the rumors circulating, but what if all the rumors about Peter were true? He will definitely look like Sun Gu. Not long after, Nathaniel said, Sun Gu, you really are what I expected from the man I chose. In just 13 minutes you managed to defeat 100 people. Sun Gu answered, sorry, it's not over yet. Everything is not over because you are still alive. Sun Gu said again, you will go down or I will go there. Nathaniel chose to go from top to bottom. With a very scary atmosphere, Nathaniel came down from above until the floor all broke. Then he said, does this answer all your questions? There is something that really makes me curious. At such a young age, how can you exert such power? I really can't understand it. Moreover, you only have the title of a level D killer. That's very strange. Who exactly are you? Are you a killer who is actively working abroad? Of course not. You are still too young to do that. Sun Gu actually wanted to answer the question, but instead he blurted out the question. What a coincidence. I'm also curious about something. Do you know? It is said that people who are not confident tend to talk a lot. Sun Gu, you should at least know one thing. While attacking, Nathaniel said that Arukan's enthusiasm and understand it. Moreover, you only have the title of a level D killer. That's very strange. Who exactly are you? Are you a killer who is actively working abroad? Of course not. You are still too young to do that. Sun Gu actually wanted to answer the question, but instead he blurted out the question. What a coincidence. I'm also curious about something, do you know? It is said that people who are not confident tend to talk a lot. Sun Gu, you should at least know one thing. While attacking, Nathaniel said that Arukan's enthusiasm and behavior were two different things. Sun Gu was surprised by the power released by Nathaniel. While defending, Sun Gu was still observing Nathaniel's attacks. The source of such great strength from his body. He still floated even though my Sun Gu was blocking him. That's actually how strong Nathaniel is. Sun Gu is still having a hard time getting out of the pressure. Sun Gu muttered, Nathaniel's body was really strong and hard. Nathaniel, how can you be so strong? Is it true that I'm still dealing with the same person? No, if it continues like this it could be dangerous. This is not good. It was clear that he had used all his strength to face those 100 people. If this continues, Sun Gu will probably lose against Nathaniel. Yuna told Sun Golu to avoid it, because it was very dangerous for him. Nathaniel said, Sun Gu, are you already feeling tired, even though this is just starting to get to the fun part? The corpse was thrown in the direction where Sun Gu was, so that it covered Sun Gu's view. How do you know? Even though you feel tired, what can you do? Because such reasons would be useless to me. If this continues, Sun Gu will probably lose against Nathaniel. Yuna told Sun Golu to avoid it, because it was very dangerous for him. Nathaniel said, Sun Gu, are you already feeling tired, even though this is just starting to get to the fun part? The corpse was thrown in the direction where Sun Gu was, so that it covered Sun Gu's view. How do you know? Even though you feel tired, what can you do? Because such reasons would be useless to me. Sun Gu muttered, he can even hold and throw me with just one hand. I've never felt this kind of power from a human. Actually, where does his strength come from? Nathaniel attacked Sun Gu blindly without mercy. Yuno is worried about Sun Gu's current condition because he is cornered by Nathaniel's unreasonable power. If it's like this, Sun Gu could die. They got into the elevator and then Nathaniel pressed the button and they headed downstairs. Yuna shouted very loudly. Then Nathaniel spoke in the elevator, Sun Gu, looking at the fight earlier, you were very agile. Therefore, I think that if we fight in a narrow space, you won't be able to escape. With strength that doesn't know where it comes from, Nathaniel attacks Sun Gu relentlessly. Now, even Sun Gu can only survive. Are you going to continue like this? Where did all your ambitions go? Though I predict fighting with you will be special. But if it's like this, you are no different from the people you killed earlier. Nathaniel landed countless blows on Sun Gu's body. Then, not long after, the rope connecting the elevator the two of them were riding in seemed to be breaking. They both fell from top to bottom, and caused such a loud sound. The elevator looked like it was destroyed. Yuna is very worried about Sun Gu. He wanted to find a way down. There are so many things that make me curious about you. Obviously, I was scheduled to meet Peter today, but why did you come instead? What is your relationship with Peter? Actually, what are you actually doing? Are you dead? Most people do, the people who fought with me. Everything turned out like that because I always fight seriously. But the more I think about it, it's really annoying. You're fine, there's not even the slightest injury. After I attacked you continuously, other people would have died first, but you are indeed special. You always dodge my attacks. Sun Gu said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I admit that you are very strong, but your foul attacks makes me feel like I want to sleep because I'm sleepy. But now I will start to be serious with you. Try coming here now. I will fight you seriously. Nathaniel immediately attacked, saying, what a bastard you are, you underestimate me. He is now really serious, I have to be careful. The two people hit each other and produced a violent shock. Jiwon and his colleagues watched their fight via CCTV in the room. Jiwon said, are you sure about this? Yes, I see that Central Sun Gu is overwhelmed now. Does that worry you? Not at all. I heard an interesting story about 55 years ago. There was a teacher who taught his students about the meaning of the source of strength. They were asked, "What do you know about the source of power?" Their answers varied. Some answered about the ability to analyze, and there were also those who answered the ability to use weapons. There was a little boy who answered the question earlier. He answered the ability to defeat everything. No, it was a strong body. The teacher confirmed the answers of all the students. The students were told to destroy the stones in front of them. They were very unsure about it because the rock was very hard and big. But that doesn't apply to Peter. Peter took the strap and wrapped his hands with it. His friends were surprised by Peter's behavior. Without much ado, Peter immediately started hitting the large rock. Time kept turning from early morning until late at night. Peter never stopped hitting the rock. The next day, Peter's friends gathered. They were so surprised by Peter's behavior that he kept hitting the rock all day long. They saw a stone in the same position, which they thought was a stone that Peter could not destroy. But Jiwon saw something near the rock that was very surprising. Peter, a very tough and strong little boy, managed to destroy so many boulders. That's how Peter was before. Jiwon believes that he is still stronger now than before. Returning to Sungu and Nathaniel's fight, Nathaniel said, "Do you know how much weight a human can lift? The strongest man in the world, strong man, he can only lift up to 520 per kilogram. That proposition is impossible for other humans, but what is this? Are you human? Is this the real power of humans?" Sungu said, "Doctor, have you ever been hit by a car? Why are you suddenly talking nonsense?" "Because your great strength is no match for me now." Sungu, who previously couldn't do anything, now starts in serious mode. Sungu began to control the game. He tore the room apart. But there was something strange. Nathaniel's body was attacked by Sungu as if there was no effect at all. The old man who watched the match said, "It must have been difficult for the two of them in such a small space." This was Sungu's victory. But Jiwon felt something was wrong. There was something strange in Nathaniel's body. Sungu says, "What else will Nathaniel do?" Nathaniel woke up and said, "You will never understand what I have done to survive and what is in my hands. How can I survive like this? Don't you know? I'll tell you if it will stop you from being curious. Sungu, you were the first to see evolution. Evolution that has never been done before." What did he do to his body? Even Sungu was shocked. Nathaniel said, "Why are you so surprised? This is the evolution I will inherit."